Hey everybody, I'm Mystery, the father of the house and the founder of the house of Mysterious Dior, which was founded back in 1995. I am one of the youngest legends in the ballroom community today.
What's a legend?
A legend, in my opinion, is someone who has not only won an innumerable amount of trophies. Excuse me. Can I do this over? I'm sorry.
Yeah, start
I'm
over.
sorry. From the very top, or
No, just a legend.
a legend to me is someone who not only achieved a numerous amount of trophies throughout the years, but also has paved the way for up and coming statement stars and legends, and has pretty much revolutionized their particular category enough to know that you became a household name because of this particular category and the things that you've done within the means of time.
What have you mastered?
I've mastered dramatic performance Vogue Femme, in addition to commentating.
Say that again.
I've mastered performance, dramatic, Vogue Femme, the Macaella dip, as well as commentating.
What's the gamla dip?
The Macaella dip is the dip when you stand in one spot and you just drop on your back. It's something I created back in '95.
How did you come up with that?
Well, when I first went to my first ball, I noticed that everybody was voguing soft and cunt, which is a very feminine style. I always had a more aggressive outlook on things, and so I incorporated my style of just regular dancing and my creation of just being completely dramatic and spontaneous. And I just, out of the clear blue, just thought of this brand new creation, and this is the Macaella dip that I'm just talking about. It's funny.
What else did you create?
The entire category, dramatics, where you emote.
Start out with I created.
Oh, I created just the complete category, dramatic Vogue Femme, B2B performance dramatics for the Vogue Femme kids. It consists of hitting every single beat to songs like Dindada, The Ha, and Give It Up Drum Beat, Cuban Pete. I was the first Butch Queen ever to vogue to the popular hit Cuban Pete. Hitting every single beat, beat to beat. Um, and that kind of gives you a little sum of what that is about.
Um, what's the style of voguing that you vogue?
The style is more contemporary style. It's the new wave performance Vogue Femme. It's nothing like the old school where you just did the basic catwalk, the basic slow dips. It's more spins, acrobatics, dips, flips, splits. It's a more new wave performance.
How do you think about and work on your artistic creations in your
Well,
head?
it doesn't really take much. I think that certain people are gifted, and I think I'm one of those people who are gifted. What I do is I don't practice. Whatever comes naturally is what you're gonna get at that moment. It's not like a premeditated thing. It's whatever at the spur of the moment happens. It just comes out. I've always been born with the gift of just entertainment, whether it be dancing, singing, or what have you.
Do you have any training?
No, I have no formal training. I'm just a natural.
Um,
Okay.
just hold that up for a second. And let me see how we start that piece. I'll hold it a little bit to the side, like then I vibe more stylish.
Okay. Okay.
With a butch twist, of course. And tilt it down a little because the reflection, tilt that like this. Not too much. Yeah, this is fine. And like after 10 seconds, you can just put your hand down. I'm gonna start on that flag while you start talking, and then I zoom back, and then you can put it down. Otherwise, you'll keep sitting there like
Okay.
this. So, okay, we're rolling. And tell me what this is and what it's for.
This is my recent Lifetime Achievement Award that I received at the Awards Ball this year. I'm the 2003 recipient out of 5 of us who received this. And I'm one of the younger recipients of this because, of course, as I said, I'm only 25, and most of the recipients are like in their 40s, and they've been around for plenty of years. But this was given to me because I accomplished so much in such a short time, and so I was recognized for it.
What were your accomplishments?
My accomplishments were that I revolutionized Butch Queen Vogue Femme, number one. I was one of the first and innovative commentators as far as the new generation is concerned. I um I just created a brand new trend that was incomparable to anybody else who have ever hit the scene in such a short time that I did. It took what takes most people 20 years to do. I kind of summed it up in like 3.
Um, like,
A question block?
yeah, I had
Okay.
something specific, like following up on this whole. Who gave it to you? How do you develop your commentating skills? How did you get inspired in the beginning, and then how did you develop your own style?
Well, similar to voguing, it was almost like second nature for me. It didn't take much practice or learning. It was more of me just being around, familiarizing myself with the ballroom scene, seeing what really attracted me, and just developing my own technique, which is something I'm really adamant about. I'm adamant about being original. Commentating, I'm educated. I have a bachelor's degree in communications. I went to Queens College. I've always been a public speaker. So the transition of public speaking and commentating was very simple for me. It happened like, um, it was like nothing to me. It was like waking up and breathing.
Um, what is like? Do you have like your own original lines? What is
Yeah,
like
I created a chant called "When you're voguing femme, 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 just to get your tens, tens, tens. You're the creme de la creme, creme, creme. Let me see you stop, shawam." That's which is became one of the most biggest commentating hits in the ballroom scene, especially for the dramatic category.
Can you say that again? Because you had a
Okay.
couple.
When you're voguing femme, 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 just to get your tickety 10, 10, 10. You're the creme de la crickety creme, creme, creme. Let me see you stop, shawam.
Um, how important are commentators in the ballroom?
Actually, commentators to me are the most important aspect and person in the ballroom scene because they're the ones who run the show. They're the ones who have to think of all these um, brand new lines and right on the spot because without the commentators there'd be no function. We're the leaders of the school of the new pack, and we're the ones who are thinking of everything to do, step by step, minute by minute, from beginning to end. So it's very important, very vital.
When you do your voguing, how do you take the music? How does that, how do you connect with the music and the commentators?
Okay.
See?
Well, the music and the commentating, they're both equally as important to me um, because commentating to certain chants, like for instance, Jack or Selvin's chants, once I hear their chants combined with the music like the Ha, it just inspires me to just give my all, especially like when he says stuff like, you want to get in that banana boat, cat, 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 whoop, swim. All of that stuff is just combined is what makes a performer the best they can be. And because I have great commentators like Selvin, like myself, like Jack, like um, God Bless the Dead, Eric Bazar, they inspire you to really, really give all your all throughout your performance.
Yeah.
When I follow the vocabulary?
Are they, you compare it to earlier days now, you
Yeah,
see certain trends developing, certain
right.
styles, children.
There is an apparent change in voguing since I got into the scene back in '93. Actually, this is my 10th anniversary in the ballroom scene. October of this year will be my 10 full years of being in the ballroom scene within this particular generation. Um, it's changed a lot. I mean, it's been more accepted as far as new ideas. Like before, it was so basic and simple. It was just 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, easy going, basic stuff. Now they're accepting more of the, I would say, the new millennium techniques, which is more of what I created, which is more of like the spins, the dips, the acrobatical moves, the antics, things of that nature.
Um, about the HIV, uh, you seem to have done, you know, a number of different work for different organizations.
Okay.
And the way I would like to start out is, um, you know, are you HIV?
No.
Are you open? No.
Am I HIV positive?
Yeah, you're positive.
No.
No. Um,
But I am affected. I'm not infected, but I am affected. And so it's been.
yeah, so you can start out, I'm affected with,
Okay.
you know, the HIV,
Okay.
you know, and I work for several, you know, organizations, and then
No
you can
problem.
name them.
Elaborate.
Just, but keep it short. I know it's a long
Okay.
thing.
Okay, you ready?
Mhm.
Okay. Although I'm not HIV infected, I am affected by the epidemic. It's been a very, very difficult obstacle that not only people who are infected face, but those loved ones and friends and people who worked within the community. I have been doing outreach and peer education for the last, I'd say 7 years. I've worked with organizations such as GMHC, GMAD, POCC, and others that are affiliated with these organizations. It's very vital to me that I encourage and educate young adolescents and young adults about this horrible, horrifying epidemic that's going on, and just to get the word out to protect the future generation, because a lot of people don't know how easy it is to catch it, and it doesn't have to discriminate against any particular person. It can happen to anybody, whether you're promiscuous or not. It can just happen at the first time.
Give me a success story where you worked with somebody and, you know, looking really down, and then after you know, with working with you, they had like, you know, changed their life. Do you have like some success story?
Yeah, actually.
Even if it's a ballroom child, you know, you don't have to mention
Yeah.
the name.
Okay. Yeah, actually, I was working with a ballroom kid who I'll leave anonymous, and he originally had found out that he had contracted HIV at a very early age, at like around 20, and it was very difficult for him. And at that time, I was educating myself more on the drugs and how effective they were. At that point in his stage, he believed that he didn't want any drugs because he didn't want to live anymore at the time. Luckily enough, I also worked at a psych ward at Franklin Hospital in the psychiatric unit. So I had experience on counseling as far as HIV-related depression. And so what I told him was that I emphasized to him how important the drugs were, both psychiatric drugs, psychotropic drugs, and of course the HIV prevention drugs. And eventually we developed a really strong friendship. I became one of his mentors. And as a result, he listened to my advice. He now is, he's still positive, but he now is undetectable. His viral load has gone down dramatically. His T cells are not even detectable right now. He's doing great. You would never know that he even has it at this point because he's listened to me throughout the years, and he knows that what I said to him was true because he's seen the other people who I've dealt with and educated, and now they're living for years.
Could you make a statement if the children would pay attention and listen more, we
Mm-hmm.
wouldn't have such an epidemic
Okay.
in the foreign community?
Mm-hmm. And
Okay.
also, if the children,
Start out if the children.
okay, if the children were more focused and paid more attention to the epidemic, then we wouldn't have such a bad epidemic these days. All it takes is just listening and learning. Learn to listen and listen to learn on things that are going to help you in your future. It would be so much less people catching HIV and AIDS if there were just more education and more consciousness in the young community today.
Right. See, I think we hit that
Good.
right on the spot.
Okay.
So we did the work, we did this commentating. Is there anything I wanna get a lot of commentating ideas from you, since Jack is not coming down, Selvin, you know, they
Okay.
just don't come through. So
Okay.
you seem to be the voice of the commentators as
Okay.
far as on camera. I mean, they are there and you hear them on background when people performing, so I can get the idea across that way.
Okay.
But the actual interview, it seems like you're the commentator.
Okay.
So when you know network with Selvin and Jack, do you inspire yourselves?
Okay.
You know, a little something like this.
Uh, Actually, it's very inspiring to interact with Selvin and Jack because once I start to flow lyrically, for some reason Selvin automatically clicks with me, and we have like this team commentating going on, and it's just really a great feeling, and it makes your words just even come out even better because you're inspired by someone else's energy, and together we make this huge um, mass of words and spontaneity and just fun. And out of the clear blue, you think of all these weird things to say and funny things to say and performance matching words. It's just perfect. It helps.
Right. It's the yeah. I think I want to recapture something there. But the interacting. I start out how the interaction amongst commentators,
Okay.
how I mean that's something you also have to develop. That's something that I mean
Okay.
yes you click, but then over time, over
Okay.
years, you know you can feel
The
what's
person.
coming.
Right. Okay. Interacting with different commentators such as Selvin and Jack, especially Selvin in my case, because I haven't really done many collaborations with Jack. As far as Selvin is concerned, we have developed this um, rapport.
Yes, start out again, and don't mention Jack that we haven't interacted because
Okay.
that's you know
Okay.
that they don't even bother telling it.
Okay.
The interaction,
Okay.
especially with Selvin.
The interaction with commentators, especially with Selvin, has been one of the greatest experiences of my life because it has developed throughout the years of us working together. It started off us just from trying to get familiar with each other's different techniques. And eventually it just started happening. We just, out of the clear blue, spontaneously just learned each other's grooves and learned each other's different phrases and commentating chants. And before you know it, and before you knew it, we just automatically just clicked. This just constant, and each time we've worked together, it's just gotten better and better. We've grown and grown. And just on GP, we just quickly developed this style, and we just work well together as a team. It's wonderful.
When you think of Selvin in a commentating way, what comes to mind?
Okay, thinking of Selvin in the aspect of commentating is he's more of a comedic commentator. He's more focused on like the Vogue Femme categories. He's more of the comedy level. I'm more of the more rigid, stick to the books, more professional style. He's more of the spontaneous cat. I'm more of the, and the next category is, and I have the swift tongue as well, but he's more the comedy. I'm more of the professional. That describes us too.
Yeah, I think.
It's the truth.
Yeah, well,
That's the truth.
it's all an artistic progression, and I want to capture, you know, the whole process
Okay.
because it's all natural artistic progression, and that's what I want. How do I look to be a natural artistic progression? And as it, you know, like you get, you know, it's all a natural progression that you're here today now. So, and that's the whole project. And which is all what you guys doing. It's all somewhat of an improvisational, artistic, natural progression.
Right, good.
So, children make.
Okay, the common mistakes children make with voguing is not being original. That's one of the first things I would emphasize to people who just come out and who are learning how to vogue and who want to become popular and want to walk in my footsteps one day. A lot of you kids ask me, oh, what did I need to work on? What do I need to do? What you need to do is take your time out to develop your own technique and your own style, similar to the way that I did. I'm not expecting you to recreate or revolutionize a category because that's not going to happen often anyway. But at least learn from the legendary kids like myself and then become your own person. Don't be imitating and constantly emulating a person's style, because eventually you're going to be stigmatized as a voguing thief. The best thing you can do is just take your time out, learn the music, learn the commentating chants, and just become your own. That's all I can really say about that.
What's a voguing thief?
A voguing thief is someone who clearly has watched someone like me, not to brag, and has actually mastered their technique. And then eventually they come out at the ball and they're doing exactly the same moves as what the person who created it was doing. Similar to a person like this guy named Mystery who strips. He took my name, my original name, because he loved it so much, and he stole my name, so he was a voguing name. It's the same concept. It was something that I created. It was taken from me, and unfortunately, I'm gonna start copyrighting every single thing that I do, because if you don't, including my voguing moves, if you don't, you'll be robbed of your style.
I think that's another interesting subject. Let's just go back and talk
The
about
mystery thing.
not the mystery
Oh no.
thing, the copywriting,
Okay.
because that is really your
Essential.
intellectual property that you need to protect yourself from, because that's eventually where the copyright and the money is coming from.
Okay.
So,
Copywriting is a very, very vital thing to anyone who plans to make more than just a key out of their life in this ballroom scene and just in life in general. I myself am a singer, songwriter, producer, etc., voguer, chanter, commentator, and it's important to me that I let people know and that I jot down and that I pat pen and copyright all of my material, because otherwise, as you know, it gets stolen and I don't get credited for what I created. I copyright everything I do, whether it be flyers, whether it be phrases, whether it be chants, whether it be music. It's all essential to my benefit later on in life. Mystery was a lot of people have asked me this question. And they don't know the history of mystery. Mystery was created because the way I carry myself, to me, in my opinion at least, was like a man. My category was voguing femme, and it was so stereotypical that all Vogue femme children are really feminine. They're going to be drag queens one day. They're very, very soft and cunt. Because I had an image of more of a manly image, I said, what can I do to bring out this new thing that I want to create for the ballroom scene? This whole hard image, these hard dips, this very masculine technique of Vogue femme, the new millennium style. And I said, what can I do? And then I want people to know who I am. So I thought of something. I said, I can be a guy named Mystery with the mask on. And so I started off with a mask for a good year and a half. No one knew who I was. I was completely concealed. And that's the history behind Mystery. This is where the creation, that's where it all began.
mystery about mystery, I love that.
Hmm.
Um,
Well, my music accomplishments are, I have a publishing company called Music Too Good to Be True. And what I do is I write music and I send music overseas, and I work with independent artists overseas. My ultimate goal is to eventually get a major recording contract, not really as a singer, but more as a songwriter slash producer. Um, but eventually I'm going to branch off to my own style of music. I do write music and I do produce and I play piano. I'm very versatile musically. So my accomplishments are that I'm a songwriter. I had an independent record deal at one time with MCA Records, a smaller division of MCA. It didn't work out, but I'm looking forward to bigger and better things now. I'm looking forward to working with professionals that are here to support me and venture off to my dream.
give me advice for a new voguing child.
Okay. The only advice that I can give a new voguing child is that keep going forward. Don't look back. Don't let the train fall off the track. In other words, don't be discouraged by all these legendary kids like me, like Taifa, like Kevin Angel and Kevin Ebony, like these up and coming kids like Pony and Alora. Most of these kids have learned from people like me. And it's not to be intimidated or to be discouraged by any of these people, because they started somewhere too. Just work hard at whatever road you're after. Stick to what you're doing. Don't be discombobulated by different categories. Don't go outside of the scale. If you're a voguing kid, stick to voguing and just prosper in that particular category. I am a father of a house, the father of the house of Mysterious Dior. My responsibilities basically are to nurture and to help develop my kids, and also to keep my name up and to uphold a certain image that's going to be role model to these younger kids who I recruit in my house. I have a very unique technique of recruiting kids. I don't recruit kids because of winning trophies. I recruit kids because I look more for quality and not quantity. There are plenty of houses that have hundreds and hundreds of kids of no quality, no harm. But I have a good handful. I can count on two hands how many kids I have. But they're all in school, they're all educated, they're all drug free, and they're all making something out of themselves. And to me, that's more important than any plastic trophy.